We are back on Get Up, and as we work our way towards week 5 of the NFL season, let's ring the bell and play another round of Sound the Alarm. Kmart, is it time to sound the alarm on the Kansas City offense without Rashee Rice?
Really, I'm going to say it's time to ring a teeny little bell. Listen, I get it. We have some offensive line issues here. We've got Marquise Brown, we've got Rashee Rice injured. I get it, but when you have 15, when you have Travis Kelce, when you have Xavier Worthy, I do think we have to give them just some patience, because last year everybody was ready to write them off, and they ended up winning the Super Bowl. So with the Chiefs, I always give them patience.
But don't you think they'll make some kind of deal somewhere along the way? We'll find out. Jeffrey, how about the 0-4 Jaguars? Are you sounding the alarm?
They ain't got a bell big enough, bro. Whatever the little teeny, we want the maximum bell.
Church
Ring it,
bell.
sound the alarm, bang, whatever. I mean, this is awful. You just didn't see this fall off from Doug Peterson's led Jaguars, or I didn't see it coming the way it has. And Trevor Lawrence looks like he's regressed. They don't have answers. They're not feeling competitive, right? They didn't feel competitive when they're playing. And so, yeah, heck yeah, I'm sounding the alarm. They got to turn this around in a hurry.
Hey, Hawk, is it time to sound the alarm on Dallas and Jerry Jones not trading for defensive help? He says he's not going to. Are you sounding an alarm?
No alarm, because the battery is dead. That alarm has been going off for more than a year now. There's no one here to hear it. It's too little, too late. Anybody you get at this point feels they feel a leak, as opposed to the gaping hole that is in the middle of the Cowboys defense that we've all been witness to for more than a couple of seasons now.
That's fair. So on your screen you see no alarm, but he meant that in a different
Very
way.
facetiously.
And correctly so. By the way, if you want to see what it looks like when a person is sounding an alarm, you should have seen Swagoo on Get Up yesterday when we were talking about the Cowboys. Listen.
2 more weeks if they lose these games, though, it's a wrap.
Wow.
And that's very unfortunate, because I think it's going to be a fire sale as well on the coaching staff, and it's going to be a retool. And unfortunately, that's what is right now today. It looks like that's what's going to happen.
Yes, indeed it does. And we've been sitting here this morning talking about the possibility of them trading for Davante Adams and maybe making some kind of aggressive move somewhere. Why are you giving me the face?
Because when Jeff mentioned the Dallas Cowboys, he's like, if Jerry's all in, here's the thing. Didn't Jerry just tell us that, I couldn't afford Derrick Henry? But that was just too pricey. Now he's going to go out and get Derrick Henry. Here's the thing.
Davante Adams,
Davante Adams. This offense, they rushed the ball 67 times. None of those rushes have been over 10 yards. So when you talk about adding a Davante Adams to this situation, they still can't run the ball, and they still can't stop the run. So I just don't understand what's happening with the Cowboys. To your point, the alarm is dead.
I mean, the argument for the Cowboys would be you can only deal with what's available, and their way of winning is not going to be to find an entirely new offensive line and find a new young running back and run the ball. Their only way, the argument for bringing them in is this is their only path to winning. They have a very good quarterback and one very good receiver. You put another incredible receiver out there, and I think it's not going to work, but it's some hope.
It's your best chance.
I'm saying it's your best chance. They have no shot right now.
And
you got to bring Davante Adams in, and you're like,
and you got a good tight end. So you got at least you have some semblance of an offense where you can move the ball down. Y'all, it's not just a defensive problem. Their offense hasn't put up points either, which doesn't help their defense. So we're going to crush the defense. The offense is where the money is. You got to go.
I can sell that. That's all I'm saying. I can sell that.
Here's why it's tough offensively. Because, yes, they have not looked good. They've passed the ball way too much because they can't run the football. And as a receiver in a West Coast offense, the hardest thing you could do on them is not have a run game. So it's not been very productive, but even Cooks, like, say what you want, he is still a good receiver. Yeah. It's very hard to get open against defenses that know you cannot run the football.
Yeah.
We live in a world where we sort of crazy things happen, and when enough of them happen, they just start to feel normal because we become desensitized to the craziness of it. If you just sat down and wrote all the things the Cowboys have done, just write down on a piece of paper the things they've done, the order in which they did them, and the timing in which they did them, going back to the end of last season, you would say this is organizational mismanagement of the to the absolute nth degree. The signings they made, when they chose to make them, how they chose to make them, and this is where they find themselves. Look, I'm right so seldom that I reserve the right to point out when I was right. This team got worse and they got more expensive.
Yeah.
They're not going to win anything this year. Put those games back up, their schedule for the next. We put that bar back up there that has who they're playing in the next 4. They're going to get buried. Show me a game on here they're going to win. They're going to win at the Falcons?
Maybe they got the Eagles.
Maybe.
I mean, they could win any
divisional
one of those
opponent.
games.
Yeah, Eagles divisional opponent.
Okay.
We have questions about the Eagles. At Falcons, a little tough, but not.
They're going to win at Pittsburgh?
So the thing is, it's at Pittsburgh. Acrisure, tough place to.
Yeah.
Detroit's going to run for 200 yards against them.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
They lost when they didn't sign Derrick Henry last year during the trademark. I'm just telling you, I beat the desk for months. He's a bring your own blocker.
Mm-hmm.
You don't got to worry about the rest of it. You can set up the rest of your offense in a West Coast style. That's where they lost. I mean, and then they had an entire offseason to sign. Even J.K. Dobbins. I mean, it could have been Saquon Barkley. I'm not just saying one guy, but you could have helped yourself tremendously making different decisions. And now when you see their cap being as open as it is, you're like, you can go pick up Davante Adams. I'm just trying to put a Band-Aid on a gaping
To
wound
your
because
point,
it's just not pretty.
And the next 2 games after that are the Texans and the Commanders.
Yeah, it's.
So they might not see a W until they get to the Giants. Like on a schedule of saying, I feel good about the Cowboys winning this game.
Yeah.
And again, without a run game, even if you get Davante Adams, it doesn't do anything.
And everybody in the league has gone to running the ball really well.
That's where the league is.
That's where the game is going, and it's like they didn't get the memo.
Yep.
I don't understand.
Their chance at relevancy this season, I think, is the division not running away from them.
For sure.
Is the Commanders, with the rookie quarterback and all the new guys, if someone in that division, right now it looks like Washington would be the team that could do it, winds up winning 12 games this year, I think the Cowboys have no chance. Their chance is if that division winds up being won at 9-8.
And what is that a chance for? It's a chance to go get your ass beat in the playoffs. Congratulations.
The Raiders have informed other NFL teams that they would consider trading Davante Adams for a package that would include a second-round draft pick and additional compensation. Adams missed his first game as a member of the Raiders on Sunday with a very coincidental hamstring injury that he suffered in practice last Thursday. Then the speculation mounted Monday. A Sports Illustrated reporter posted on Twitter that he wouldn't be surprised if Davante Adams has already played his last snap in Las Vegas. Raiders coach Antonio Pierce ended up liking the post, as you can see at the bottom of the screen. He would later remove that like, but it still got back to Davante Adams when he talked about it with Kay Adams yesterday.
I haven't heard from him. I haven't talked to him. So I haven't. I don't know. I don't really know exactly what that was about. Obviously, I got. Social media is a beast, so it's a lot of people out there that saw it and, wondering what's going on and people reaching out. And I haven't spoke to him.
But a lot of people think you may never play another down as a Raider. What would you say to that?
All I can control is this talk we're having right here. And then after we're done with this, all I can control is the next thing that I'm on to.
It's just so. The man said, "It's above me now. I can't speak to the future. He's gone."
Look, I mean, can we start? What are we doing, Antonio? Like, I love Antonio Pierce. He worked here with us. He's a friend of a lot of people here. But what are we doing here?
Are we sure it was him? What was his username?
He got to say he got hacked.
Antonio Pierce. Yeah, Antonio Pierce.
So
it wasn't me, man.
He don't understand the app. He's confused. He's my age. He doesn't understand it.
But
He hit the wrong
even if
button.
he was scrolling up and you accidentally liked things or whatever, for Davante Adams to say, "I haven't heard from him," that's a problem.
yeah, and that was on whatever. It was originally tweeted, but then that was posted on Instagram. That wasn't Twitter. That was Instagram that we're looking at there. But whatever. We're nitpicking to the nth degree. The bottom line of it is this: Davante Adams is leaving Las Vegas, to quote the song. There's very little question of that. His hamstring injury suffered in practice on Thursday is extraordinarily convenient, right? And he is going to be exactly as hurt as he needs to be until he gets traded, which is fine. This is the way the world works. But let's make sure, for those who are just joining us, we answer the most important question. Davante Adams in Green Bay was probably the best receiver in the NFL. I think most NFL fans who haven't seen nearly as much of him since he went to Las Vegas for a variety of reasons want to know from you, Hawk, wide receiver expert, is he still that good?
Davante Adams is just as good as he was with Green Bay Packers. Simple as that. He's the best route runner in the league. He has been for a very long time. And because his quarterback play is no longer at the level it was when Aaron Rodgers was his guy, I get that some people might be confused and say, oh, he's 31 years old. A second-round pick for him. No, that is a steal because he has the type of a game that preserves, and he'll still be Davante Adams for another 3 seasons. So just make no mistake about it. Go turn the film on. Go look at him versus the Baltimore Ravens, a defense that when they played the Bills, receivers couldn't even think about getting open. And he murdered them. Trust me, he is he's top-notch.
The Ravens might be in this sweepstakes just on how they experienced a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
But I think that this is interesting to me because it reminds me of Randy Moss a tiny bit.
Yeah.
And how Randy Moss was like, this is the best receiver we've ever seen. He went out to Oakland at the time and the Raiders and was like, oh, maybe he's done. And then he got traded to a quarterback, and we were like, oh, this literally is the best offense in the history of the league.
Yep.
So Davante Adams may not quite be Randy Moss, but he is an impact player, and he still can be for just about any team in this league, especially one with the quarterback.
Can I just take it back to how we got here?
Yeah.
When Davante Adams was traded to the Raiders, his quarterback was his friend Derek Carr, his former college teammate. Then Derek Carr, they move on from him. And now he's in a situation where the quarterback I expected is not here. And then you have the quarterback situation there with Jimmy and then Aiden and Gardner Minshew. This is a guy who the goal is to win a championship. And if you were in Las Vegas, you wanted to get paid, yes, but you also want to win a chip. And you're looking around the landscape and you're wondering, is this team going to ascend to that level? No one thought coming into the season the Raiders would get to that point. So if you're Davante Adams, what's left for you to do? Go somewhere where you got a great quarterback and try to win it all.
So, Cindy, let's put all the picks on the screen because I asked everyone at the table here, what do you think would make the most sense? Who should be on the phone right now? And there are 4 very legitimate options here. And, of course, the best of them is Domonique's. So let's start with that one. And I say that for all the obvious reasons, including the fact that it was with Aaron Rodgers that he became the best receiver in the NFL.
Yeah, the last time we saw him as the best receiver in the NFL, he was with Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers looked like the best quarterback in the NFL. And coming off of the offensive display we saw last week, Aaron Rodgers seems to want to hold his players accountable. And his favorite receiver on the team right now is Lazard, who is obviously not the most talented receiver, but it's the receiver that Aaron has history with. So this makes perfect sense to me. Again, a receiver at this age, at this talent level, you trade for him if you think he's going to put you over the top and you're not worried about the future. A second-round pick is extremely valuable. They'll happily send that second-round pick away